On the day when my grandmother and I set out to gather mushrooms in the forest, the sun shone brightly, painting the nature in warm autumn hues. I was just a few years old, eagerly anticipating this walk with my grandmother. She was always wise and caring, and I knew I had nothing to fear with her by my side. We started our path into the forest, enjoying the coolness and the scents of the trees. My grandmother skillfully pointed out different types of mushrooms to me, explaining which ones were edible and which ones were better to avoid. I listened attentively to her words, trying to remember every detail. But suddenly our pleasant search was interrupted by a strange sound. Branches snapped, and in the distance, a deep roar echoed. My grandmother instantly stopped and tensed, as if trying to decipher the essence of the sounds. "What is it, Grandma?" I asked, feeling an unfamiliar worry creeping into my heart. "Shh, quiet, dear," she replied, squeezing my hand tightly. "It's just the sounds of the forest. Nothing to be afraid of." But I could see that my grandmother was listening intently to our surroundings, and her usually calm eyes were filled with caution. Then I heard it. A deep, powerful roar that pierced the silence of the forest. Fear engulfed me, and I clung to my grandmother, seeking comfort and protection. My grandmother turned to me sharply, her eyes expressing deep determination. "We need to leave, right now," she said, in a quiet but firm voice. We began to move, my grandmother leading me by the hand. I couldn't understand what was happening, but I felt that something serious was going on. The forest around us seemed unwelcoming and mysterious. And then I saw it. A bear, huge and mighty, emerged from the bushes nearby. Its fur glistened in the sun, and its eyes sparkled with fury. It was seriously irritated by our presence in its kingdom. My grandmother wasted no time. She quickened her pace, leading me away from danger. I could feel the pulse of my heart pounding in my ears, but my grandmother held me firmly and safely. Finally, we emerged from the forest, and only then did my grandmother stop to catch her breath. Her hands were shaking, but her eyes were full of relief. "We did it," she said, hugging me tightly. "You were very brave, my little friend." I didn't remember this situation, and only many years later, when I was an adult, did my grandmother tell me how we miraculously avoided danger that day in the forest. Her story became a symbol for me of her unwavering strength, wisdom, and care. I realized that my grandmother's love and care were my reliable guide, even in the most difficult situations.